growth. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You and I are having
number one,
you and I are having a personal conversation, which is covered under free speech.
Okay, 119 of the Florida statute.
Hold on.
Are you familiar with 119 of the Florida statute? First of all, number one, let me ask you something.
119 of the Florida statute.
Am I talking at your home? Ron, am I talking at your home? Are you watching TV right now?
No, I'm at work.
That's right. 119 of the Florida statute specifically states that you are a public agency. 286 of the Florida statute specifically states under the Sunshine Law. You are not under a private conversation right now. Are we talking about your dog? Are we talking about sports that you like?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we are under an official position. No disrespect to you, you are not talking to a dummy, okay? You are talking to somebody who knows the laws.
Is it accurate? And I'll tell you a few reasons.
Swear under oath of perjury just right now. You just swear this under oath of perjury, Ron. You are under perjury right now. I'm putting you under perjury. Oh yes, I'm putting you under perjury right now. You're a public servant, right? Ron? You are a public servant, right? Am I correct on that?
I'm an appointee of the governor.
You are a public servant, right? Am I correct on that?
I am an appointee of the governor.
You took an oath on 176 of the Florida statute.
Wait a minute.
No, why won't you answer my questions? You took an oath under 876 of the Florida statutes.
Sir.
You took an oath. Did you not take an oath to support and defend and protect Florida citizens?
Wait a minute.
I know Florida statute 14, where it specifically states that the Florida governor swore to protect the citizens.
Excuse me, sir.
Go ahead.
If you ask me a question, I'd like the opportunity
No, but you're interrupting me.
telling me what
Why are you interrupting me? Why don't you let me finish what I got to say? Let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you, Ron Davis, okay? I talk down cops. Okay, I talk down cops. This is a common interrupting technique that is used by cops. Now, Ron Davis, why don't you let me say what I got to say instead of rudely interrupting me? Did your mama teach you better manners?
That's what I was going to ask you, sir.
Go ahead.
In the meantime, I'm happy to listen to what you have to say. Then I'll thank you for your call because I have to go. So please say what you want.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to tell you. Okay, Ron Davis, here we go. I want to report about, in my town here, the cops protect criminals called the super loud car stereos that go up and down the road. I want to report about the fact that Travis Lamar Ward was hit on his bicycle and they're trying to blame the bicyclist. I want to report about somebody named Danny Cashmere Pipus who pulled a knife out on me. He's got a previous arrest of pulling knives on people. I'm the one that had charges put against me because I had to defend myself with somebody with a knife. And so what you're telling me, the Florida governor's office, they make all kinds of excuses not to help out people who've got the brave guts to stand up against dirty cops. So you're basically saying I go to the cops, I go into their office in their place there of where I feel like the hostility is so thick you can cut it with a knife. And in the Florida governor's office, you make up all kinds of excuses, go out of your way, not to want to protect citizens who've got the guts to try to do something to get rid of corruption. Mark Barney murdered Anna Beach, okay? She's in the grave right now. I'm sure that she may have tried to call the governor's office, and they turned around and said, oh, we're going to look for every reason not to help you out. The citizens pay your salary, right? Why don't you help out the citizens?
Are you finished?
No, I'm not finished. I greatly appreciate you.
I'll give you a few more minutes and then I'll thank you for calling.
Okay, all right, so let me just articulate, okay? Travarius Lamar Ward was hit on his bicycle. He had lights on the front and the back. He's in the Bay Medical Hospital right now, looking at over $100,000 worth of bills. He even told me he wore a red jacket. Let me just go through this, okay? Thank you very much. Warren Davis. All right, so that's one thing. Another thing is, you can check on it out. Would you let me finish? Warren Davis, I thought you was going to let me finish what I had to say. Please. All right, number two. Okay, I've been trying to do something about these super loud car stereos that are going up and down the road in Panama City and Panama City Beach, which it seems to me like there's a cop protection racket going on. What's their excuse for not being able to get every one of these punks off the road? Article 2, Section 7 of the Florida Constitution says unnecessary noise will not be tolerated. They put ambulance and fire department people in danger. That's under 80610 of the Florida statutes. 932 contraband, they could take away every one of their vehicles. Okay, now we got a situation where Danny Cashmere Pipers, who's got a previous arrest of pulling knives out on me, pulled a knife out on me. I was forced out to defend myself. The cops declared him, as a victim of crime. Lisa Stutzel of the state's attorney's office is the one who, said that the victim no longer, so-called victim, did not want to press charges anymore. Now I'm looking at, because all I tried to do is get something done about these super loud car stereos, I'm looking at phone harassment charges, which is under 365 of the Florida statutes. Yet there was somebody by the name of Tina Alliston in Panama City, Florida. She lives on Oak Avenue and 8th Street, 8th Avenue and Oak Street, Oak Avenue and 8th Street in Panama City, Florida, called the cops 4 years straight about speeders, which she had a right to do. And the cops don't do anything about that. Now I got a idiot clown by the name of Sergeant Stryker that puts false charges against me, threatens to bust down my door in my home because I'm trying to get something done about these super loud car stereos that are going up and down the road that the cops can't find, but they have no mercy on the homeless people that are quietly drinking a beer. There's a guy named Richard Spanos that's been thrown in jail so many times because he quietly drinks a beer, yet they allow these bars to have fights going on all the time, hey, because they bring in the money. These super loud car stereos, which is a felonies under 874 of the Florida statutes, which is called criminal gang signaling instrumentalities. And it seems to me like no matter how many laws I look up, the super loud car stereos, they break into my home. That's called 8102 of the Florida statutes, which is breaking and entering into an occupied dwelling. There was,
that doesn't count.
Oh, you're swearing us under oath of perjury right now. You understand this, right?
The use of a car stereo is not breaking into a occupied dwelling.
Oh, let me ask you something.
A car stereo cannot break into an occupied dwelling.
Let me ask you something. Was you a lawyer?
Hold on, that's covered under a local noise order.
No, it ain't.
Stereo.
Let me ask you something. Are you a lawyer?
By definition, break into.
Let me ask you something. Are you a lawyer? Have you been a lawyer?
No, I'm not a lawyer.
Okay, what was you before you became assistant for the governor?
It's not relevant to the conversation.
It's very important because how do I know? Maybe you are tender. I don't know. Maybe you might be a lawyer.
It's relevant to the conversation, and if you think it is, then you and I probably shouldn't be speaking.
So in other words, what you're saying, and let me get this straight, the citizens who are only begging the Florida governor's office to try and do something about dirty cop corruption, they're making it to where it's next to impossible for a person under whistleblower status to report dirty cops, just like poor Anna Beach is in the grave right now because Mark Baumia murdered her. Go to the Florida Department of Corrections website and you can see that he's in jail for the rest of his life. Not only that, you still there? Okay, good. I'm glad you're on speakerphone because I want other people to hear this too, okay? First of all, number one, there is no secrecy in a government's office, okay? In the governor's office, in any public office, and that's under 119 of the Florida statutes. Now, you name me the exemption that you're under. You can't. Now, can you speak? Yeah, you cannot name it because first of all, number one, you're the most public agency that there is, and under Chapter 14 of the Florida statutes, the governor swore He can even call out the military, the National Guard, to take care of problems about these phone cars that are going up and down the road. Am I correct on that? I'm sure you're an expert on Florida Statute 14 because I am. Now, Warren Davis, I can't understand. All I'm trying to do is I'm not against cops. I'm against dirty cops. I'm against the dirty cops that murder Atlanta Beach. I'm against the dirty cops that protect these boom cars that go up and down the road that rob people's rights to be able to live in their homes in peace. I'm against dirty cops that are trying to put the blame on the bicyclist who was riding, with headlights on front and back on his bicycle. With a red jacket on top of that, now he's looking at over $100,000 worth of bills, in the Bay Medical Hospital right now. And how do we know there was strong incentive for the cop to blame the bicyclist because he probably thought he was going to die in the first place? Now, so when you named me all these quotations, you looked up the laws and you knew these laws. Am I correct on that?
I didn't name any quotations, Steve.
Number one, when you told me that this was a private conversation, you give me the actual law, and I'll give you the laws of this.
I don't need to give you an actual law. I'll tell you what I said. I said you and I were having a private conversation that is covered under free speech or the First Amendment. Therefore, you're able to say whatever you wish, as I am able to say whatever I wish. You and I can exchange information and ideas. You have an opportunity to share your concerns with the governor, and I can respond or retort. But I'm not making any recordings of the call, and you're not able to make any recordings of the call without notifying me that you were doing so.
Let me tell you something. You're a public servant. I'm the public. I don't need to. Let me ask you something. Why are you called public servant?
Because I work for the government.
No, public servant means I don't have to. I do not have to get your permission. I don't have to get your permission. I do not have to get your permission. Because you just committed perjury right now. You understand? Look up United States Code, Title 18, 2511, Section 2D, okay?